I'm recording this from a motel on the Oregon-Washington border. The name on the register isn't mine. The car parked outside was purchased with cash 3 days ago. My phone is powered off and buried in a metal box 200 miles from here. Because 2 weeks ago, in the Cascade Mountains, one of them spoke to me. Not in grunts or animal sounds, but in broken labored, but unmistakably intentional English. And what he told me about the hunters who disappear in these forests every year, about where they go, what happens to them, why they're never found, is something so disturbing, so fundamentally wrong, that people with authority and resources have already tried to silence me twice. I'm speaking anyway, because the families of those lost hunters deserve to know the truth, even if the truth is worse than anything they imagined. Before I begin, you need to do something critical. Hit that like button right now. Subscribe to this channel immediately. But most importantly, download this entire video the moment you finish watching. Save it to multiple devices. Upload it to other platforms. Send it to journalists. Make physical copies if you can. Because what I'm about to share violates direct orders I received from federal agents who showed up at my door 5 days ago. They made it very clear that discussing this publicly would result in consequences. I'm discussing it anyway. Some truths are too big to be buried, even when revealing those truths might bury you. My name is Ricardo Almeida. I'm 47 years old. I've been a licensed hunting guide in Oregon for 23 years. I come from a family of hunters. My grandfather guided in these mountains in the 1960s. My father continued the tradition. And I grew up learning these forests the way other kids learn video games. I've guided over 500 hunting expeditions. I know these mountains as well as I know my own home. And for 23 years, I've kept a secret. A pattern I noticed but never mentioned. A terrible knowledge I carried alone because speaking about it meant being fired, ridiculed, possibly arrested. Hunters disappear in these mountains. Every year. Multiple cases. Experienced men with proper equipment, appropriate training, years of experience. They enter the forest and never come out. Official searches find abandoned equipment, sometimes blood trails, occasionally signs of struggle. But never bodies. Never remains. Just absence. As if the forest had swallowed them completely. Official reports always say the same thing. Exposure, fatal falls into inaccessible ravines, predator attacks, where bodies were dragged away and consumed. Reasonable explanations that satisfy insurance companies and comfort families. But I knew something was wrong, because the patterns didn't make sense. The locations were too specific. The circumstances were too consistent. And in 23 years, I personally lost 6 clients. 6 men I was guiding, who disappeared under circumstances I could never adequately explain. The first was in 2003. A man named Thomas Bradford, tech executive from Seattle, experienced hunter. We were tracking elk. He moved away to investigate fresh tracks and simply vanished. We found his rifle 20 yards ahead, abandoned on the ground. We found footprints, his and others, massive footprints that didn't match any known animal. But we never found Thomas. Over the years, the pattern repeated. Experienced hunters. Always alone when they disappeared, even when part of larger groups. Always in specific areas, remote valleys, hidden ravines, sections of forest that local guides whispered about but never discussed openly. And always leaving behind evidence of something else. Footprints. Sounds that didn't match catalog fauna. The sensation of being watched that every veteran guide recognizes but never admits out loud. 2 weeks ago, I was guiding a group of 3 hunters, businessmen from Brazil, visiting the U.S. specifically for this expedition. For days in the wilderness, looking for elk, primitive camping. Standard experience. On the 3rd day, we were tracking through a valley I knew well, but always avoided when possible. Something about that area always felt wrong. Too quiet. Too watchful. One of my clients, a man named Paulo, noticed it too. Ricardo, why is the forest so quiet here? No birds. No small animal sounds. Sometimes areas like this get quiet when large predators are around, I explained. Bears, mountain lions. The smaller animals hide. But I knew it wasn't that. Because I'd been in this valley before. Knew what the silence really meant. And I was considering turning back, taking the group to different territory, when we found the footprints. Massive. 18 inches long, 9 inches wide. 5 distinct toes. Vaguely human shape, but impossible scale. Fresh, made within the last few hours, based on the state of the disturbed earth. The 3 Brazilians gathered around the footprints, taking photos, making speculations. Bigfoot. Paulo asked, half joking. Probably just deformed bear tracks, I said, the lie coming automatically after years of practice. Sometimes when the soil is soft. Ricardo. It was the second client, Andre, pointing to the tree line ahead. There's something there. Something big. I looked. And through the fog forming in the valley, I saw a shape. Massive. Bipedal. Standing at the edge of a clearing, maybe 60 yards away, absolutely motionless. Watching us with undeniable intention. Back up, I said calmly, my hand going to my rifle. Slowly. Back up the way we came. But before we could move, the shape took a step forward. Then another. Emerging from the fog with a grace that was impossible for something so large. 8 feet tall easily. Covered in dark brown fur. Shoulders wide as a doorway. And the face, Jesus, the face. Too flat to be a bear. Too structured to be anything I recognized. And the eyes. Dark, intelligent, fixed directly on me. I need you to stop here and comment. Tell me what you would have done in that moment. Would you have shot? Run? Stayed still? Because what I did next, what that creature did next, changed everything I thought I knew about these disappearances. So comment now. What would you have done? I raised my rifle. Not to shoot, not yet. But ready. The creature saw the movement, stopped advancing. And then it did something that made my blood freeze. It raised the hands. Palms forward. Fingers spread. In the universal gesture of surrender. Or peace. Or don't shoot. My God, Andre whispered. He understands. He knows what the rifle does. The creature kept its hands raised for maybe 10 seconds. Then slowly lowered one hand and pointed. Not at us. To the side. Direction toward the deeper valley. And made a sound. Not a grunt. Not an animal roar. Something structured. Syllables. Inflection. Communication. He wants us to follow, Paulo said. He's asking us to follow. That's insane. We're not going anywhere with that thing. But the creature made another gesture. More insistent this time. Pointing to the valley. Then pointing at us. Then making a beckoning motion. Come. Follow. Need to show you something. Ricardo, Andre said calmly. You've seen this before. You know this area. What's happening here? I looked at him. At the 3 men who were my responsibility. At the creature that was clearly trying to communicate something to us. And I made a decision that would change everything. Yes, I said. I've seen before. Not this exactly, but signs. Evidence. And I think he wants to show us something about the missing hunters. About where they go. You're saying Bigfoot is involved in the disappearances? I'm saying there's a pattern. And this creature wants us to see something. And I think we need to see it. So we followed. For humans walking through foggy forest. Following an 8-foot creature that shouldn't exist. He moved slowly enough for us to keep up. Stopped periodically, looked back, made sure we were still following. Guiding us deliberately deeper into the valley. Into territory I didn't recognize. We walked for maybe 40 minutes. Through terrain that became progressively more difficult. Steep ravines, streams to cross, dense vegetation. And gradually, I started noticing signs that we weren't in random virgin forest. Marks on trees. Rocks arranged in patterns. Branches broken in ways that suggested regular passage. We reached a clearing hidden by rock walls on 3 sides. And in that clearing were structures. Not natural. Built. Made from logs and branches, but clearly constructed with purpose. Shelters. Storage areas. And in the center of the clearing, something that made my stomach turn. It was a memorial. There was no other word for it. A collection of objects arranged deliberately. Rifles, backpacks, clothing, IDs, wallets, all laid out in careful rows, organized by type. And, behind them, on the rock wall, something even worse. Symbols, carved into the rock, tally marks, and beside each group of marks, an object. A driver's license, a wedding ring, a photo, representing people who had disappeared. Jesus Christ, Paolo whispered. It's a cemetery. They're documenting, keeping records. The creature who brought us there moved to the center of the clearing, made that structured sound again, then gestured to the memorial. To us. Back to the memorial. The message was clear. Look, see, understand. I approached the arranged objects slowly. Recognized some immediately. Thomas Bradford's rifle from 2003. Michael Chen's backpack from 2009. David Ruiz's jacket from 2015. My lost clients. All here. All documented. How many? Andre asked, his voice tight. How many people are represented here? I counted the marks on the wall. 73. Over looks like several decades. The oldest objects are decades old. Did they kill them? Paolo asked. Is that it? They hunt humans. But the creature made a loud sound. Denial. Anger even. He stomped the ground, then made an elaborate gesture. Pointed to the forest. Made movements suggesting hunting. Then made a throat-cutting gesture. Death. Then pointed at himself and made a negative gesture. He's saying no, I translated. They don't kill them. Something else does. The creature gestured again, this time toward the deeper forest, beyond the clearing, and made a different sound, darker, threatening, then gestured as if fighting, as if being attacked, and pointed to the memorial. Slowly, horribly, I began to understand. He's saying there's something else out there, I said. Something that kills the hunters. And they find the remains. Collect the belongings. Document who died. They're keeping records. For us. Because no one else knows where these men went. Andre looked around the clearing with new understanding. So they're not the predators. They're witnesses. They're documenting deaths that no one else is recording. The creature made that affirmation sound. Then gestured to us again. More urgent movement now. Come. More to show. He led us out of the clearing, through another stretch of dense forest, until we reached a second ravine. Smaller. More hidden. And what we saw there made Paolo vomit and Andre go pale. Bodies. Or what remained of them. Scattered across the ravine in various states of decomposition. Some recent, weeks old. Some older, months, maybe years. All showing massive trauma. Not from predation. From violence. From something that had torn them apart, broken them. Destroyed them with force that no known animal possessed. What did this? Paolo asked, wiping his mouth. What kind of animal? Not animal, the creature said. We all froze. Because the creature had just spoken. In English. Labored, difficult, but undeniably English. You can speak, I said, stunned. Can learn. By listening. You talk much. In forests. We listen. We learn. Each word was clearly painful to form. Not animal. Is. Our kind. But wrong. Sick. Not like us. What? You're saying there's another type of Bigfoot? And they kill humans. Not other kind. Same kind. But broken. When our kind gets old. Gets sick in brain. Loses thought. Loses control. Becomes only rage. Only hunger. Only kill. We try, stop. Try control. But some are strong. Escape. Come to areas like this. Hunt what they find. My mind was racing. You're saying these missing hunters are being killed by sick members of your species. Bigfoots that became, what demented? Violent. Yes. When our kind ages. Or gets hurt in brain. Sometimes they lose what makes them thinking. Become only animal. Big animal. Strong animal. Animal with rage of humans. For everything humans did. To habitat. To family. And then they kill. Kill humans. Kill animals. Kill everything. And you document. Keep records in the memorial. Yes. Because we feel guilty. Is our kind. Our responsibility. So we find the dead. Collect belongings. Try to honor. Try to remember. So they are not just disappeared. So someone knows. Even if that someone is only us. Andre stepped closer slowly. Why are you showing us this? Why reveal this now? The creature was silent for a long moment. When it spoke again, its voice carried something that sounded like despair. Because it is getting worse. More of our getting sick. More losing the thought. We do not know why. Maybe pollution in water. Maybe less food. Maybe just our species dying. But more becomes sick. More kill. And more humans die. And no one knows why. No one can stop. You want us to tell authorities. Want us to make this public. We want you to understand. When hunters disappear, it is not mystery. It is not accident. It is our sick kind. Killing. And we are guilty. Cannot control. Cannot stop. Can only document. And say sorry. To dead who will never hear. He gestured to the ravine full of remains. 73. In 40 years. This area. Other areas more. Many more. Hundreds maybe. In all mountains. All killed by our kind. All documented only by us. Because you humans never find. Never know truth. If we tell this, I said, if we make public that Bigfoot exists and some of you are killing hunters, then you will come. With guns. With hunters. Will kill all of us. Sick and healthy. Will not make difference. We know. But maybe is right. Maybe our species should end. If we cannot control our sick. If we cannot stop the deaths. Maybe we do not deserve to exist. The weight of those words hit us like a physical blow. This creature was asking us to expose his entire species, knowing it would lead to their extinction, because they felt responsible for the deaths caused by their sick members, because they preferred extinction to continuing to allow humans to die without anyone knowing why. How many of you remain? Paulo asked quietly. How many Bigfoot still exist? Maybe 300. In all mountains of north. Maybe less. We become fewer each year. And maybe 20 of them are sick. Sick and dangerous. And we cannot stop all. So humans keep dying. Andre looked at me. What do we do with this? How do we report without causing their extinction? I don't know. I have no idea how. That's when we heard it. A sound coming from the forest, beyond the ravine. Deep, guttural, enraged. The creature, showing us everything, tensed immediately. Made a low sound that was clearly a warning. A sick one, he said. Here. He smelled scent. Of humans. He comes. We need to go. Now. No time. He is fast. Faster than you. Stronger. He will catch, kill. Unless. The creature looked at us. Then looked back at the forest where the sound was coming from. And in his eyes, I saw something I recognized even across species differences. I saw someone making a choice. A terrible choice that would cost everything. I will delay him. You run. Back to your path. Do not stop. Do not look back. Just run. No, you can't. There is no other way. He will chase me, not you. Gives time. Now go. Now. We ran. All four of us, through the forest, following the trail back. Behind us, we heard sounds. Roars. Impacts. The sounds of combat between two massive creatures. Sounds that grew more distant as we ran, but that echoed through the trees with terrible violence. It took 2 hours to get back to our camp. We packed everything in 15 minutes, not talking, just moving with the urgency of people who know they've stayed too long somewhere dangerous. And we hiked out, 12 miles to the nearest road, which we reached as the sun was setting. That night, in a motel, we discussed what to do. We had photos, audio recordings, testimony from 4 people, evidence of the memorial. GPS coordinates of the ravine with the remains. Paulo wanted to go straight to authorities. Andre thought we should contact scientists first. The third client, who had remained quiet through everything, said we should forget everything and never speak about it again. I didn't know what to do, because telling the truth meant exposing an entire species to extinction. But staying silent meant more hunters would die without anyone knowing why. 3 days later, the federal agents showed up. 2 of them, IDs from the Department of Interior, but from a division I'd never heard of. They knew about our expedition, knew we'd found something, wanted all our recordings, photos, notes. You stumbled onto a classified conservation program, the older agent explained. The species you encountered are under federal protection for decades. Discussing their existence publicly violates multiple national security laws. National security? They're killing people. Some of them are. And we're aware. And we're managing the situation as best we can given the constraints. But exposing the entire species won't save lives. It will only cause extinction. And then the deaths will continue. Only no one will be documenting or trying to prevent them. They produced non-disclosure agreements. Told us signing was the only way to avoid prosecution. Told us our Brazilian clients had already signed and were returning to Brazil with orders to never discuss what they saw. And then they told me something that changed everything. The creature who showed us the memorial, who protected us from that sick one, who gave us time to escape. He didn't survive the encounter, the agent said calmly. We found both bodies 2 days later. They killed each other. And now, there's one less of the healthy species trying to manage the sick ones. So thanks for that. The guilt of that, the weight of knowing someone died protecting me, almost broke me. But I signed the agreement. What else could I do? For 2 weeks I kept silent. Then I started having nightmares. Seeing that ravine full of remains. Seeing the memorial with 73 sets of belongings. Seeing the eyes of that creature when he decided to give us time to escape even though it would cost his life. So I'm violating the agreement. I'm telling everything. Because the families of those lost hunters deserve to know. Even if the truth is impossible. Even if no one believes it. Hunters disappear in these mountains. They're killed by sick members of a species that shouldn't exist. And the healthy members of that species document every death. Keep memories. Feel guilt for what their sick do. And one of them died protecting me because he wanted the truth to be known. Hit that like button one last time. Subscribe. Download this video and preserve it however you can. Because this is the truth about the lost hunters. This is the confession that was made to me by something that learned English just by listening. This is the terrifying revelation that changed everything I thought I knew about these disappearances. They exist. Some are sick and killing. The healthy ones are documenting and apologizing. And one died so I could tell you this. That's the fate of the lost hunters. That's the truth Bigfoot revealed. And now you know too.